Hello, YouTubers. This is Alexandria Velez coming back at you with my experiences. Uh, First, I want to say happy Halloween. Uh, I may get trick-or-treaters, so I'm not sure if I may have to pause this audio or not. But forewarning, I may get trick-or-treaters and pause. My background is in web technology. I have been in web technology for over 10, 15 years, doing web development, product management, QA, web technical support, things of that nature. I recently got into a program called SEAP, the Self Employment uh, Assistance Program with the Department of Labor. Because I am currently unemployed, I am eligible for that program. My last video or audio was about my first experiences with SEAP, and also about a free 3-credit program that the College of Staten Island was offering. If any of you are interested in entrepreneurship, that program is very good to go into. It's just a lot of requirements, and it does not align properly with SEAP. So that is why I'm not going into it. But to learn more, you can watch or listen to my last video. Okay, so today I want to talk about how to find 20 hours of training. Now, it took me a while to find that information. I should have started early on as soon as I applied for the program, because when I went to the session, the introductory session, they tell you will have to do 20 hours of training. So it's something that you should prepare for even if you don't get accepted into the program. Because if you are serious about running a business and you want to learn more or you want to network, these are very key things that you should consider doing if you don't know anything about running a business. So I highly recommend, if you're going to go and try to do anything for yourself, even outside of the SEAP program, definitely do some workshops, take a course, whatever have you. That there's a lot of free content out there that will help you. So what I want to go into is one of the main things, which is use Google or any search engine that you prefer as your medium for finding these resources. Use keywords such as business training, small business training, entrepreneurship training, things of that nature to find what you're looking for. You could even add the word free in there if you can't afford to go to a training session, or look up webinars or expos, which I'm going to go into expos in a little towards the end of this audio, because I actually just came back from one. So number one, use a search engine such as Google or Bing or whatever have you as your medium of finding these resources. Also, number two, use the public library. They have a ton of resources that we don't utilize so much anymore because of the internet. Now, since I'm in New York, it's beneficial for me to go to the New York website of the public libraries. And so if you decide to look up resources on businesses, they will probably have a lot of information. So for anyone who's in New York, not including Brooklyn or Queens, because they have their own public library website. So The nypl.org, which is the New York Public Library, will have information for Staten Island, Manhattan, and the Bronx. So there's a lot of information out there for that. I highly recommend looking into their calendar or schedule of events for businesses, because they provide an entire list of resources to go to. Now, I may have also mentioned this in my last audio as well. So you should definitely take a look if you're looking for training. There's a whole bunch of information. Many of the websites I bookmarked because they're extremely relevant to small businesses and entrepreneurship. So that's something to take a look at. The next thing I would suggest is the SBA.gov website, which is the Small Business Administration website. So I decided to take a workshop from them just to see how it is and get an understanding. Now, those are not live training sessions. However, when you've completed the audio, they email you, or actually they display a certificate saying that you've completed the course. And you are asked to fill in your name, and they will publish a little certificate for you to print out, and with your name on it and the date and the course that you took. So very, very good information came out of it. I took the crowdfunding 101 course that or training session that the Small Business Administration took. Now, you can take this video at whatever time you like. That particular video was 1 hour. 30 minutes. It was a 30-minute long video, and it gave like a PowerPoint presentation and speech and a lot of very useful information about crowdfunding. For those of you who are not aware of what crowdfunding is, it's a way of getting money for your business by using friends, family, associates, anyone that's on the internet to donate money to your cause. There are many things that you should do. There are many prerequisites that might be necessary for your business, such as getting registered with the SEC to get your crowdfunding out there. But it's not necessary for all businesses. But it was a recommendation that the course mentioned. So I highly recommend taking a crowdfunding course when starting your business. SBA has several other little training courses, videos that you can take. But as I mentioned, they're only about 30 minutes long or so. So to fill the 20 hours, you will have to find either a lot of time to go and research which ones are the best for you, and then try to allocate 20 hours of that. But I used a mix of different resources. So SBA is not the only one that I went to. Baruch and Pace University both have free and paid training sessions that you can take, because they are business schools, or their main focus is business. They definitely have workshops and things of that nature. But the only problem I have with it is you have to physically go there. So for me, not having any like real income yet, and traveling over there, it's kind of like, okay, I know I have to take this training, but is it really worth it to me to go out there? So, and also I'm commuting. It's a long commute. It's not something that's short. So if I were to take public transportation, that's only $2.50, but it takes about 3 hours for me to get there from my location. For anyone else, it might be simple because it's in both of the locations are in Manhattan. One is in uptown and the other one is downtown. So it all depends on your location and how you're going to get there, if you can afford to get there. Consider the fact that you might have to buy breakfast or lunch or whatever while you're out there, or bring it with you if you can. Anyway, just some ideas. So Baruch and Pace University, just go to their websites. Baruch's website is baruch.cuny.edu. Pace is pace.edu, and they will have some information about workshops and things like that on their website if you search for it. Another interesting website is to get training from is SCORE. So not only can you get really good mentors from SCORE, you can also get live training. Well, I shouldn't say live training. They're webinars. So I went to a webinar. That was actually one of the first ones that I went to. I went to a webinar called Campaigns That Drive Action, Newsletters and Announcements. So this particular webinar is based on a digital marketing strategies. The person that ran it was John Cates, and he is a digital marketing expert with Constant Contact. He's extremely knowledgeable on his on the webinar that we took, and you can ask him any questions in the chat that if you have any, and they will take the time out to actually answer any of your questions regarding his webinar. So I thought that was extremely informative and very useful. And also, at the end of the session, you will get an email saying thanks for attending. So that's necessary for you to present it to your mentor or to the SEAP program. My mentor, I have been having trouble trying to get in contact with her through email and through telephone. So I have to find out what's going on there. But it's my knowledge. The SEAP program requires a signature for if you're not in a live session and you're in a webinar, you need a signature that it's required by SEAP. So when you have completed the webinar program that you're in, so if you're in a webinar, you don't necessarily get a signature. So you have to get a signature from your mentor, and you have to prove to your mentor that you've actually gone to the session. That's what they recommend. And I still have yet to confirm whether or not that my mentor will be able to sign for it. But so I'll have to either give her a call again or try to get in contact with a different mentor. Regardless, SCORE, their webinar that I've been in so far has been very good. Another website that's really useful that I found is a website that's called Coursera.org. Now that's COURSERA.org. And what they look like is a school that has video, I want to say video courses, because they don't necessarily look like a webinar, and they're much, much longer. So for example, I'm taking an introductory entrepreneurship course, and they have 4 weeks of training in there. So you take it at your leisure, And the way that it's basically structured is there's 4 weeks of training. It could be more than that. It might be less than that, but I think the minimum is actually 4 weeks. And you get to pick whatever it is that you want to be trained in. So you go to Coursera.org, you do a search on what you want to learn, because they have a wide variety, not just business related, of different courses that you can take online. Now, the introductory page will tell you a little bit about what the course is about and also who the professor is. Many of these courses are actually sponsored by certain schools. I believe the one that I'm taking right now is sponsored by the University of Maryland. And so the professor there goes in depth with all of the information about what is important about, what you need to know about businesses, starting up a business, who's your audience, who you marketing to, things of that nature. So far, I think it's been really good. In addition to that, there are assignments and they have due dates. So be aware that every week there is at least one assignment that you have to complete. When I first registered to the site, they ask for your photo for verification that you're the one who's taking this course, and also they want just a digital signature. They'll ask you to type out a sentence saying, "I hereby authorize," whatever, or I am saying who I am, and this is what I'm taking. So they're trying to verify whether or not you are the person that you say you are, and if you're actually taking the course or not. So that's their way of verifying. So there's the courses, there's the training, there's different things. There's the assignments that you have to take with it. At the end, it's my understanding that at the end of Coursera, you do not get a verification unless you pay for it. I want to see how true that actually is, but it's not that expensive. It is $50 though, and it gives you like the hours that you need in one shot. So they say on their website how many hours it may take to complete the course. So for this particular course, it says 4 to 6 hours per week. And so right there, you can add that all up, and you basically have your 20 hours or so, give or take, because you, as an individual, you also have to think about, you have to complete the assignments. How long does that take? How long, are these sessions? The videos that they have are not live, and they're pre-recorded, but they're really pre-recorded very well. You can slow down the audio or fast forward the audio, or just speed it up a little bit, not fast forward, so that you can get the audio at your speed. And it's a really interesting technology. You see, on mine, I see the professor and I see his PowerPoint presentation, and he goes step by step through the PowerPoint presentation, and he gives his own examples and things like that. So it's really good. And then after that, it tells you, do you want to continue with the next, segment or no? Each segment will range depending on the lecture. So, like, for example, the introduction was about 3 minutes long. The summary that he did was about 10 minutes long. Then he starts to go into detail, and that was about 20 minutes long. And each one of those was a separate video. So you can take it at your own pace. I've already completed the first week of of one of them because I had a full day to kill. So literally, if you wanted to, you can take a full day just to do the video. I highly recommend watching the videos once or twice each, because once you get to the assignments part, you only get 3 chances to do the assignment, which isn't horrible, but you are scored on them. Now, uh, I haven't gotten any sort of feedback from my assignment yet. I don't even know if I will, but they gave me a score. Like, so in the assignment, you get multiple choices. I got about maybe 14 questions of multiple choice, and then 2 other questions that I had to actually write a paragraph each for. So each of the, I don't know if that was already graded, in the way that it's automatic. How do they verify that information? I'm not really sure. And at the end of it, it just says, for example, with the second assignment that I received, I got an 8.4 out of 14, which is like 60% accurate. Does that include all the multiple choice and the 2 paragraphs that I had to write, or is that just the multiple choice? I don't know. So I'll wait until the week is over to see how that is, and I'll report back on it in my future video audio to see how that works. Anyway, it's really interesting, and I wish I had found it earlier, because then I wouldn't have found all these other miscellaneous training sessions. But at the same time, if I'm in the course that I'm in, I'm only learning about one thing. And that'll take about a month for me to get all that information in and submit it. But at the same time, there's a lot of other things that you may need to look at. Like I mentioned before, I took a crowdfunding webinar. That was extremely useful. That should be, that may not be included in this course. Also, the marketing techniques with newsletters, that may not be included. All these other things, so, are things that need to be considered. So, but if you just want to get those 20 hours of training over with, I suggest going to Coursera, and just, if you want the certificate at the end of it, which is the verification certificate is what they call it, you pay the $50 and you're done. And you do it all from home, and it's from a reputable school or organization. So you just need that certificate, and then you present it to your mentor and have them sign the sheet that SEAP requires. Anyway, so I highly recommend checking out Coursera.org just to kill those 20 hours of training that you need for SEAP. The next website is nyc.gov, which is the Small Business Services unit that New York has. It has a ton of resources, but unfortunately, they're not always readily available because they're, I guess, the people who are doing the training are not always available. So, but a lot of every resource that they have is free. So if you live in Staten Island, you don't have a whole lot of options. They do have sessions in Staten Island, though. In the other boroughs, they tend to have more updated sessions, but in Staten Island, it's kind of, there's not a whole lot. So there's 2 different sections of their website. So they have a small businesses area, and when you look at their services, that's that's the information that you need. So you go to the services part of the website, and for the small business portion, and they have one section that says webinars, so that's really good. So they have a webinar you can take if you choose to. And I haven't taken any webinars from them yet because they don't have any scheduled. so so and that includes all the other boroughs as well. So I'm not sure when they plan on having their next set of webinars or updating the website. However, they have a ton of in-person workshops, and they range from different things to marketing to finance to law to all for small businesses. So it's really, really great that they have this resource. The only problem is, like I mentioned, in Staten Island, they don't really have much of anything scheduled. I think they only had like one thing scheduled, and that's how to build a website. And I kind of laugh a little bit about that because I already know how to build a website. That's the business that I'm in. So so much for that. However, I signed up for it anyway, even though I wasn't able to attend to it for other reasons, but the session is in person. So you get to ask questions if you're not familiar with the web technology and things of that nature. So it sounded like a really, really, really good course to take. All the other ones were not available in Staten Island. They were located in the other boroughs, many in Manhattan. So if you don't have a problem going to Manhattan, you're great. Outside of that, they had some in the other boroughs as well, but there weren't a whole lot of options. I'm guessing also because of the season, it's changing. The weather's getting colder, so maybe these trainers are not able to actually visit these locations that they have the training sessions in. So who knows? In any case, they do have a schedule of events, and it's very well organized. They give a nice detailed description of their class and what they offer. It's just location-wise, not so great. Then there's BizLaunch, and I think bizlaunch.com is the one website that I think is great. It was, and I say that I think it's great because they had, so I took a webinar on score free publicity for your business with these simple strategies. And that was a couple of days ago that I took that webinar. And so the software that they use is very sophisticated. It has, so the presenter comes on and they have their, PowerPoint presentation. And then you have the normal chat room, the chat box that you can chat in. Typically, you don't see other people talking in that chat box. But when I went to this particular seminar, there were a whole lot of people talking about, it was just a free range type of chat where whenever they had a question, they would ask it and then someone would answer it. So even though the speaker was speaking and about what he wanted to speak about, there were other people in the webinar with me that asked questions and gave answers and gave feedback, and they started networking. They said, I'm from blah, blah, blah organization, and I want to know how to better market my product on the internet and things of that nature. So they really had, it was very interactive. I think that was probably the best website, and they have an entire schedule of events for the month. So I highly recommend checking out Biz Launch. That's B like boy, I Z like zebra, LAUNCH.com. And just check it out. It's I definitely scheduled for 4 other webinars after this one because it was just a great experience. Plus, if you are interested in receiving the PowerPoint presentation, the presenter will email you that presentation. He or she will provide you with an email address, and then you can email them and ask for the PowerPoint presentation. So if you've missed anything, you have that information. And also, they'll send an email out saying that you've gone to the session. And also, they'll send an email out saying, if you've missed it, here is the video of what we discussed. So I feel like they cover all of their bases, and it was 100% free. It had a lot of useful information in the webinar, and even extra information in the chat room, and the presenter pays attention to the chat room and will answer some of the questions that they ask in the chat room as well. So it was really enlightening to see something like that, so interactive and just very great information. So the Biz Launch website is probably my favorite of all of the ones that I've suggested so far. The only problem with Biz Launch is that their webinars are pretty standard in terms of time. So they're only 1 hour each. And so that means that you would have to take 20 of these webinars, and they don't provide that many. So you will have to still look around for other things. However, I really did enjoy that webinar. I felt like I got a lot of information from it, and real-time information from other people that are in the same scenario as I am. So highly recommend it. Now, I'm going to go into talking about the expos. Expos are a good thing to know about, mainly because if you are trying to fulfill those 20 hours of training, expos typically have panels. And so if you're able to go to an expo, the expo that I went to yesterday was called the New York Business Expo. And so their website is newyorkbusinessexpo.com. And that website, that expo, was free. There were extras that you can actually pay for as well. But if you don't have the funds, it was free to attend. And so it was hosted in the New York Jacob Javits Center. And when I attended there, they had different expos going on at the same time, but you're only allowed to go to the expo you signed up for. So they had a photography expo, and then they had the business one. So I went to the business side of the convention center, and you have to go check in. They give you a badge that you wear with your name on it and your business name, and you go to the conference. Now, my problem was I still don't have a business name yet. I have an idea of what I want it to be, but it's not legal yet. So I put "to be determined" as my business name. So if you're in the same situation, just put TBD or similar, and put your real name on it, because they scan the paper and they give you a badge, and then you're able to go into the conference. Now, the conference itself wasn't that big. It was pretty small, actually, and I got there too early. It started at 9. I got there at 8:30, mainly because I live so far. I had to take the earliest commute, but it was fine. People were setting up their booths, and they have they had essentially three sections. So they had one section that was the entire show floor, where they had all these booths, advertising different businesses and organizations to help small businesses. And as a matter of fact, it wasn't even just to help small businesses, it was just to help businesses in general, because they had a youth area, several youth booths that that would help young people to start up their business. I thought that was great, um, that they actually that they had things like that. And then they had things catered to the small business, and then they had other things catered to any business. Um, in the back of the show floor, they had a huge SCORE booth. Now, SCORE is I mentioned earlier, is the mentorship, and they have web conferences and things like that on their website. And SCORE took up maybe 6 booth spaces just for their one booth. So I didn't realize how big they actually are. So I looked around the entire show floor, and there were so many things that were very interesting, but I couldn't go to all of them, basically because of time. I signed up for a panel. Now, they had several panels around the show floor, and they had one panel that was pretty much an open space. It looked like a very large booth, essentially, but it had chairs and a stage and a microphone. And so very business savvy people that were scheduled to speak would show up there. But I wasn't really there for that. I was there for the business planning strategies and business writing panel. So I went to that, and that was at 10. But prior to that, I went to the SCORE booth, because I told my SCORE representative that, I shouldn't say I went to a SCORE representative at the booth, and I told the guy basically, I haven't been in contact. I have been trying to get in contact with my SCORE mentor, but she hasn't been responding back to me. I tried calling, I tried emailing her several times, to no avail. So he was the man that I spoke with was the sweetest person ever, and he's a business mentor. His name is Ray, and Ray was just he just kept making me laugh. And he was like, well, there's not really much I can do about that. And he asked me what my location was, and I said Staten Island. And he basically said, there are many more SCORE mentors that you can go to. He said he's located at the 26 Federal Plaza location. So I asked him for his business card, and he was like, what, I just need to say a few things, to let you know what what to expect from the mentors, and also just to start up a small business. There are certain things that you should know. Are you ready to start your small business, or are you still looking to speak with a mentor? And so I sat down, and we just talked until I was ready to go to my panel. And he was really good. He was like, I got 5 things to tell you that you should really pay attention to, because these are the things that will help you out when you're, planning. I'm trying to look for it right now for what he told me. the 5 strategies that you should when considering your business, because basically I have a hard time speaking about what it is that I want to portray to for the business. I know a lot about technology. I know I want to help people with technology, but who are my customers? So that was the first question that he asked me. Who are my customers? You need to know who your customers are, not just demographics, but what are they looking for? Um, I know that my basic customer is women, but that is so general. What type of women? He said, in Staten Island they have a ton of female realtors, right? So are you looking to aim towards them? Are you looking to aim towards female high school students? Are you looking to aim towards, um, you know, retailers? Who's your audience? So those are things that I need to think about. Then the second question he says is, what does she want? What is she looking for? You can say, she wants to buy technology and learn how to use it, but that's such a general statement. You really have to know, what is it about the technology? Is it the innovation? Is it the color of the device? What is it? Why does she want these things? What is it? So, and how much would she pay? He said, don't undersell yourself. And I heard the same exact thing from the panel also. Do not undersell yourself. If you believe that you are worth a specific price, people will pay money for that because they believe in quality. So the fourth question was, what message do I give to get her to buy it? How do I promote this? What am I looking for exactly? So these are questions more about marketing. And then finally, what media do I use? Do I use like flyers? Do I use a business card? I mean, that doesn't really give a whole lot of information. It does give some, but how much information do you want to give out to your customers? Are you only going to market it through newsletters? How are you going to do this? So finding out the need and understanding the profession is very important for for your business, for you to for an individual to understand about their business. So he gave me some really great advice, and like I said, he was very funny, and he gave me real world examples of things that he's experienced and that he knows others have experienced. So, and he's been in a mentor for several years as well. So I really liked him. I took his business card, and it's by appointment only that you can visit a SCORE representative. So I just need to, call him up and ask him some questions so that maybe he'll remember me, maybe he won't, because it was so early on. But anyway, I need to email him and find out a little bit more about what he is aware of with SEAP, and if he would mind signing for my documents, because my current mentor really hasn't been responsive. Anyway, after that, I went to the panel that discusses the business strategies and how to write a business plan. And she was very good. I mean, people didn't want the panel to end, but the panel had to end because there was another panel after that. So it was really, really great. She gave us so much information. Her name is Judith Katz, and she has to be like a senior business mentor over at SCORE because she knew everything that I can think of. She is or was a college professor for business. As she just had a long background. I can't remember all of the details, but she they did discuss her background and what she knew, and then when she spoke, she had a PowerPoint presentation, and uh, she gave a flyer out so that everyone can sign this flyer with their email address to let her know that we want to get that PowerPoint emailed to us. She wasn't able to finish her presentation. She was kind of cut off short, and she went kind of fast. She started off slow, and then she went fast on the PowerPoint because she knew she was running out of time. I think probably should have had a 2-hour session, to be completely honest. But it's it was just really great, and people were asking questions. She got people involved, which usually webinars that I've been to, or rather, I should say, panels that I've been to don't always get the audience involved, and she was getting everyone involved. She was asking questions, making the audience answer these questions, and people were interested, and they were wowed by a lot of what she was saying. People were taking pictures of the PowerPoint presentation. I was writing a ton of notes. So very, very good information. At the end of it, I had a sheet for her to sign for SEAP. And when I asked her if she could sign it for me, and she was like, sure, oh yeah, I know exactly who SEAP is. And she signed it, and she signed it thoroughly. I was only expecting her to give me her signature, but she filled out almost the half of the form. She was so nice, and she was so attentive. And so I also took her business card because she was very, very good. She's in the same building as the previous mentor I saw, Ray. And so I paid this particular office a visit. They seem a little more together than the Staten Island one, unfortunately. It's kind of disappointing though for me, because the Staten Island one, there's 2 SCORE locations. I've only been to one, in all fairness. And the one that I've been to does not seem put together very well. I mean, I had to go into the basement to find a live person to talk to. And although you were able to hear them, I went into a bank. I saw the SCORE sign. I didn't see any direction of where the SCORE was as when I went into the building. That a bank teller told me where SCORE was and directed me to the location. And then there was nobody on the first floor. I had to go into the basement. Now the SCORE, the teller warned me that they might be in the basement, which is where they have their actual sessions and an additional office. So I went into the basement. I saw a live session going on, as well as I saw the mentors in the office. So it wasn't like I was in any danger, but it just for someone of my stature that I'm a small woman and going into a basement with no windows, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. It just kind of strikes me as odd. But I have a thing about offices without windows anyway. Many people may not. So yeah, it was just a little strange in terms of environment. But I'm assuming also that SCORE in Manhattan will be better. Now, they're located at the one that I got the business cards from. They're located at 26 Federal Plaza. So I've been in that building before, and it's an office environment. it may not be the most high-tech office environment, but it's an office environment nonetheless. It's not inside of a bank. So I expect it to be a little bit better put together than the Staten Island one. But like I said, I'm just disappointed that the Staten Island one wasn't that great. Anyway, prior to actually going to the panel and prior to going to SCORE, I actually did bump into an organization, a booth called Emerge 212. And I wish I had thought about this earlier. I mean, it doesn't affect anything negatively, but virtual offices. If you're planning on having a business and you need an office, or you need a place to have your workshop or training or whatever have you, virtual offices are everywhere. This particular organization called Emerge 212 they gave me their business card. I spoke with them, very lovely people. They gave me their business card. It says Emerge 212 Boutique Office Space. And they showed me their portfolio of what their office space looks like. They said that they're willing to, give a tour of their office so you can see what they offer and what it looks like. They gave me a flyer. They said for the expo only, it's $99 a month to rent out an office space for whenever you need it, and it includes several different things. Let me see if I have that flyer. So the flyer says, "Get an NYC address to impress." So it says, "Act fast. Only $99 a month, regularly priced at $195. It expires the end of November. Promo code is NYEXPO. Now, the virtual office space includes, the options include a 212 phone number with a live call answering service. It's in New York City, so you get a New York City address for your business cards and stationery. They don't I don't think that they're giving you business cards though, but this is an address that you can include on your business card. You can get mail and packages sent there, plus they'll forward any of that to you, probably at additional cost, I don't know. They have conference room availability. They have hourly and daily office rentals. So I want to look a little bit more into this. I mean, their presentation to me was really great. It really, I think it really caters to females, honestly, but it was just the design that I saw of their portfolios were just elegant and they look professional. And so, I mean, it's not just important to have an office space. It should also be very presentative of your organization. I think personally, I feel that that's extremely important to have to get more clients and more business in the future. So their website is emerge212.com/virtual. So they have locations in Bryant Park, Grand Central, and Columbus Circle. So there are, there are several other virtual offices. Don't get me wrong. I think that they just had a really good presentation and really nice looking offices. I do have to do more research. Maybe that will be what my next audio chat will be about. I'm not sure yet. But I plan on, doing another audio chat. So I probably will include a little bit about that, and also some of the future things that I'm going to be learning in the courses that I'm taking. But in general, these courses, these to find the 20 hours of training, utilize Google or any search engine of your preference. Go to the public library or go to their website, because they have resources on both. Go to schools. Any colleges will have information on training sessions and things of that nature. Some are free, some are not. Just be aware of that. The SBA Center has great webinars, and they give you a little virtual certificate at the end of it with your name on it. So that's great. Then there's programs like Coursera.org that they have a full training session with professionals, and but you do have to pay for the certificate at the end of it. It is your choice. You can still take the training, but how will you get that verification? That's the main question. So that's something to think about. Then there's SCORE. They have webinars that are all free, and they give you an email verification. And there's nyc.gov that has a small businesses division, and they'll have different services. All of their services are free to use. Then there's my favorite, Biz Launch, which has an interactive webinar. And then there's the expos, which will give you information about pretty much anything. And I only discussed the New York Business Expo, but there are probably several other expos that you can go to that may or may not be free. So worth looking into. It was great talking with the people on the show floor and in the panel and listening to everything. And so I highly recommend doing as much as you can to fulfill those 20 hours of training that you need for SEAP or for just your personal knowledge in your small business. Anyway, this is Alexandria Velez signing off. If you have any questions on anything that I've mentioned here, please feel free to email me at alex@alexandriavelez.com or visit my YouTube page, youtube.com/Alexandria Velez. Thank you and have a great Halloween. Bye-bye.